The war between Ukraine and Russia began to flare up in the Crimean Peninsula and the Black Sea. Ukraine's pressure on its ultimate goal of Crimea, reducing the effectiveness of the Russian Black Sea Fleet, and efforts to neutralize the logistics network from the Kerch Bridge have intensified in recent days. The final step in a series of attacks came on Wednesday morning when the Russian warship was targeted. A striking attack at dawn on Wednesday morning targeted a Russian Navy spy ship in the Black Sea. Moscow said on Wednesday that a Russian warship had been attacked by Ukraine near the Bosphorus Strait. Russia said on Wednesday that it had repelled Ukraine's attack on one of its warships in Turkish territorial waters with drones. The latest sabotage attempt that Moscow blames on Kiev, one of Vladimir Putin's most modern spy warships, has been attacked by 3 drones in the Black Sea, and shocking new images have emerged. The intense clip broadcast on state television by Russia's defense ministry shows how a high-speed unmanned boat rushes from the water's surface towards Moscow's Ivan Kurs reconnaissance ship. The spy ship immediately began evasive maneuvers and began firing at oncoming unmanned surface ships. The first barrage from Russia's warship missed the unmanned surface vehicles. A suspected Ukrainian sea surface drone was seen dodging fire from its target just before being hit. A Ukrainian sea surface drone rodeo with a Russian warship and its skills drew attention. Operators proved successful in handling the device. The drone exploded instantly when it was hit. However, the drone was hit directly at the crest of a wave and instantly turned into a massive fireball just meters from its target. The Russian Ministry of Defense did not provide information on how much damage Ivan Kurs received in the attack, which it said was carried out by Ukrainian unmanned speedboats in the Black Sea. However, in the images released by Russia, the contact of the surface drones and the Russian warship and how the explosion took place are not clear. It is highly probable that the Russian warship was damaged as a result of this attack. The Kremlin once again witnessed the power of Ukraine. This striking attack shocked the Russian leader, Vladimir Putin, and the Kremlin administration because the images were perhaps the clearest frames ever taken at sea. Russian sources suggested that the Ukrainian armed forces were responsible for the attack, after initial reports suggested that the drones were launched from civilian ships. Kiev has yet to comment on the attack. All 3 drones were destroyed and the attack took place about 140 kilometers, 87 miles northeast of the Bosphorus. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, Moscow added that the Russian vessel was tasked with protecting the pipeline infrastructure in Turkey's economic waters. Turkey did not immediately respond to Russia's allegations. Turk Stream carries gas from Russia's Crimean Peninsula west along the Black Sea to a point west of the Bosphorus. However, the Blue Stream crosses the eastern Black Sea from north to south and descends 700 kilometers east of the Bosphorus. Kiev did not comment on the attack. The attempt to shoot Ivan Kurs came as a smoke rose from the massive £3 billion Crimean bridge controlled by Russia, raising suspicions that it was also under attack. The Ivan Kurs is a reconnaissance ship equipped with advanced radio and visual sensors, as well as electronic warfare capabilities, and is one of only 2 ships of this type in the Russian Navy. The ship is equipped with various radio reconnaissance and electronic warfare complexes as well as communication systems to ensure fleet management. The ship was designed to monitor anti-missile defense systems, while the exact composition of its equipment is unknown. As a reconnaissance ship, it's equipped with several pedestal machine gun mounts for the 14.5mm squared KPV and several MNPADs portable air defense systems. There are 120 sailors on board. Ukrainian drones and uncrewed surface ships USVS are putting pressure on Russia's Black Sea forces. Unmanned aerial vehicles have made the northern Black Sea a much high-risk environment for Russia. He also shifted Russian ships further south in the Black Sea after the sinking of Moskva on April 14. In particular, Ukrainian UAV and USV attacks were recorded in Sevastopol in late October 2022 and March 2023. After the first, Putin suspended Russia's participation in the grain deal. The UN and Ankara brokered a deal to mitigate the effects of Russia's blockade. Ukrainian food exports, which have become a key tactic in the Black Sea. Some reports claim that the reserve flagship Admiral Grigorovich-class frigate, Admiral Makarov, was damaged in the October attack. Despite Ukraine's anti-ship missiles seriously restraining Russia in the northern Black Sea, it did not give Ukraine long-range capabilities to hit Moscow's ships in the heart of Sevastopol. For this, Ukraine turned to vehicles such as USVS and UAVs. The use of USVS influenced Russia's decision to divert some of its ships from Sevastopol. The use of uncrewed surface ships and drones became one of the most important developments on the seaside of the Russo-Ukrainian War. Russia is locked in a kind of naval stalemate with Ukraine in this close sea under Turkish control. Geographically speaking, it is now possible for the Russians to tow their ships outside the Sea of Azov, but the Russians can only do it there, not everywhere. The depths will allow the fleet they have in the Black Sea to pass international legislation, and sanctions will not allow them to leave the Black Sea through the Bosphorus. So the Russian Navy found itself in a kind of trap. According to a senior Ukrainian military intelligence official, Russia has shifted most of its Black Sea Fleet warships from its main base in Crimea to safer waters on Russian soil. Ukraine's deputy head of military intelligence, Major General Vadim Skibitsky, said the Kremlin had decided to relocate the ships for fear of missile attacks, but it could not be independently confirmed that the ships of the Black Sea Fleet were relocated. The official primary headquarters of the Black Sea Fleet is located in Sevastopol, the largest city in Crimea and the site of numerous drone strikes in recent weeks. While Ukraine has not admitted responsibility for the drone strikes, Kremlin-appointed Sevastopol Governor Mikhail Rostov-Sev said Kiev was behind the attacks, which reportedly caused a massive fire at an oil depot in the area. According to a translation of Skibitsky comments by online publication Ukrainska Pravda, Russia's Naval High Command has sent most of the Black Sea Fleet ships from Sevastopol to Novorossiysk, Russia. According to Ukrainska Pravda, Skibitsky said, "We see that the Russians are afraid this base and other military installations in Sevastopol are currently tightly guarded. The invaders are equipping their positions to protect against attacks on this infrastructure." Skibitsky noted that the warships were moved to Novorossiysk, about 20 miles from Sevastopol. He described Novorossiysk, located on the eastern coast of the Black Sea in Russia's southern Kuban region, well outside the possible anti-ship missile launch areas in the Ukrainian-controlled area. It is possible that Russian planners predicted that if the Ukrainian offensive allowed positioning closer to Russia's naval stations, the ships could come within range of missiles such as HIMARS. Some experts point out that Putin's possible naval strategy in the Black Sea failed even before the flagship Moscow sank in April 2022. At least 18 ships and boats of the Black Sea Fleet have been sunk or badly damaged since the beginning of the war. This is more than 20% of the pre-war combat power, which consisted of 74 ships and boats. In 1990, the Black Sea Fleet consisted of 800 ships, 274 of which were combat. But then it began to decline sharply at the beginning of the war with Ukraine. The Russian fleet consisted of 275 ships and boats, of which only 58 fought. Thus, there were 5 times fewer warships than in Soviet times. The overall ship composition was reduced by a factor of 3. The Black Sea Fleet, together with patrol boats, had 74 combat units by February 2022. As proof of Ukraine's capacity to attack the Russian Navy, he cited examples such as the Ukrainian offensive that resulted in the sinking of the Black Sea Fleet's flagship Moscow in April 2022. Russia's Black Sea Fleet was, in some respects at least, reduced to a coastal power. This development contains lessons for US planners. However, Moscow's primary purpose of fighting other ships was not well suited to this war, and eliminating its air defense capabilities was not as much of a strategic loss for Russia as it might have been. It meant that Russia's Black Sea Fleet lost its primary air defense platform after Moskva sank. The fleet could no longer move safely along the Ukrainian coast. The sinking of Moskva drew attention to Russia's Black Sea Fleet. According to some experts, this force ultimately failed to exert much influence in the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Some analysts argue that Russia's Northern Fleet lacks the nuclear deterrence and tools to make a difference for Russia. But according to experts, the collapse of Moskva particularly highlighted a threat. Ukraine's dangerous stockpile of anti-ship missiles represented the damage they could inflict not only on Russia's physical Black Sea Fleet, but also on Putin's reputation. In the future, we'll see together how much more damage this missile stock of Ukraine will cause for the Russians.